Hey Katrina, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you, Sonia?
I'm doing great. It's the first time that I see you as a formal official mom, and I'm so
Mhm.
excited to congratulate you.
Thank you.
You look
Yeah,
amazing.
I'm really excited.
Awesome. Okay, well, thanks for being so generous to offer your time today. So, the aim of this interview is to tell your story, your real story, so that we can spread hope around the world.
Definitely.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you some questions and feel free to run with them. Okay, naturally. Um, what was your situation like when we met?
So I was diagnosed with PCOS when my husband and I met. And so we knew ahead of time that we were going to have a struggle getting pregnant, that that's a possibility. And we had tried for quite some time. And I was scrolling online and trying to figure out the different things I could do to try to get pregnant naturally. And I just was not quite ready to get doctors involved because I knew that there was a possibility that they'll go, oh, you'll need to do IVF or you'll have to do this and you have to do that. And I really wanted to try and get my body to do what it should do naturally. And so when I scroll across Instagram, I saw Sonia's ad, your ad, and it was just something clicked in my head going like that's what I need. I need to talk to somebody who will help me look at my body naturally first and see if we can approach this at the best case scenario, get me to a point where I'm in the best condition possible I can't seem to do this naturally. And that was my thought going in when I started on this journey was I need to figure out what we need to do with me where I'm at right now.
I think it's beautiful. And I think it's really empowering for women to hear that, once you meet me, once most women meet me, you've been told no several times. You've been told it's not going to happen naturally. So the fact that at that time you choose to believe in yourself and you choose to believe it is possible naturally, I am going to pursue that route and I'm going to get there, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was a goal of ours to not have to try and get doctors involved. I've had such a mistrust with doctors to begin with. It took forever just to get the PCOS diagnosis. So it's already like not wanting to deal with doctors unless it was an absolute necessary item to get what we wanted, which was a child.
Mhm. Okay. How did you feel about the program before starting? What were your fears and your hopes and your goals?
I went in with like the expectation of this is a tool to help me get to a point where I want to go to. So I had hopes that you would be able to help me figure out how to hack my own body and look at my body as a whole and to figure out what I need to do to support myself and then maybe support my husband in order to get him to where we needed to go. This is a new tool that I just didn't have in my toolbox. I didn't know what I needed and I didn't know where to go. So realistically for me, it was I'm having somebody help me figure out what I need to do because I was starting at
Mm,
ground zero and I just knew that whatever I was doing was just not working, that tracking my cycle was just not enough. I
mm,
needed something else needed to happen. I needed to figure out what vitamins I might need to take, what kind of diet I need to be on because the internet is just a black hole of information. And
mm,
you're like, that worked for them, but it doesn't seem to work for me. And I couldn't figure out what it was. So when we heard about your program and everything, I was like, okay, this is somebody who can stand right next to us and walk us through what we're doing, help me figure out what's wrong so that way I don't get stuck in my head and they're looking at the overall picture and not just me focusing on what am I needing to do.
mhm. Absolutely. What did you learn during the program? How did it help you specifically?
Realistically, helping me hack my, body in the right way when we finally had to get some intervention. It was really helpful to have you stand alongside us because I did have to go on Letrozole, but I was having some reverse reactions. So having you standing right next to me and going like, okay, this is what we're going to do to help with the side effects of that medication. So that way I can still do it as close to natural as possible as well as to make sure that my body isn't deteriorating and I'm not losing the ground that I did gain. That to me was like the biggest bullet point, because I just felt like they were going to throw tons of medication. They're like, stop everything, don't do anything. I was like, no, 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 I'm going to still follow the plan that Sonia has. And you guys are just kind of helping move the biological stuff that's not, that's just not quite falling through. So with you, it was like, I felt like I got all of that one-on-one that I needed, and realistically maximizing what money we were spending on the Letrozole and the timed intimacy, and then what we were doing with my diet, with the vitamins, with the detoxing, with the coaching, and then kind of working through the emotional side of things as well, because we just had this storm of things happen, and having you there to kind of walk through, and me telling you about like the things that were going on in my day to day that were affecting me personally was really helpful, because I think that that helped us be able to go, okay, I can send to you what I was eating.
Yeah.
Going like, am I okay? Like, did I do the right thing?
Mhm.
Especially when I was traveling. It was so helpful.
Yeah. What you're saying is a great reminder, because a lot of people think it's either natural and only natural, or it's either interventions, medication, treatments, right? Like it's, binary. And you are now showing that even if at times, you can need some intervention, and some intervention might be helpful, like in your case, letrozole was really helpful. Having support on the side, on the natural way, to support the things that you're doing every day, how you're eating, how you're supplementing, how you're drinking, how you're moving, how you're thinking, how to navigate your daily life so that you minimize the effects of that medication. And if anything, you're continuing to optimize your system, to continuing optimizing your fertility from every angle. That's the winning strategy many, many times.
Yeah, it worked. And, we people ask, like, how did you get pregnant? It's like, well, I had a fertility coach. We did 8 rounds of Letrozole and finally
Mhm.
got him. And it took a while to figure out what we needed to do in order to get there. Cause it wasn't necessarily like we had the male fertility issue, but I had PCOS, and that was the problem. And we just needed to figure out how to make my PCOS behave in a way to get us to get there. And then when we realized that, my cycle was just not going to come the way that we wanted, that having that little boost from the Letrozole really did help. And even still, I know that if we didn't start with you first before we did the medication, I don't think we would have been as successful. I think they would have really forced us into doing something extreme like IVF.
Mhm.
And I was really hoping not to have to go down that path, because it was just not in our realistic budget for our timeline that we wanted to hit. And the fact that we were able to just do it on that like stage one of like, let's try this medication with what you
Mhm.
were doing, that was to me worth every penny.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, that's also a good reminder, like the alternative is a very invasive and expensive option, which is IVF. And that has side effects. Okay, so what was your favorite part of the program?
There was so much to say about what I liked about it. There's parts that I appreciate, and that it's all encompassing. I liked having the groups where we get to talk, and especially like when I had a hard week, and it was just like, had somebody ask me, questions about, well, are you and your husband having kids? And it's like, we've been trying. Like, that's a hard question when you're dealing with somebody who's been trying and not being successful, and then being able to go in a group and go like, man, this is what's been happening, and having other people go, yeah, feeling validated in that loss, and recognizing that you can get through to it. And then as well as like having those nice pick me ups as well from you, and having that time frame with you where I can go like, this is what I'm struggling with. And that one-on-one time to me was super helpful, because that's where I needed the help, was
Mhm.
figuring out the vitamin situation, especially with like my diet restrictions and my allergies. That was like, that was a challenge for you and me to figure out what to do. But having somebody there who understood, that that was so much of a high value to me
Yeah.
for those things.
Yeah. I'm really glad that the coaching was really helpful for you. And as you say, we have two different kinds of coaching for different reasons. We have the private sessions are more for personalization and truly to understand what's going on, like in the details of your life, because we're not staying at a surface level, we're landing everything to a very practical level. And then we have the group sessions, and the girls call it the group hug. I didn't come up with that term, they came up with it. And I think that's truly it, like feeling seen, validated, and virtually hugged by a group of women that get you and that are in the same season in life is so therapeutic. Mm.
Yeah, especially like being older, not, quite in their 40s, but definitely in their 30s, and seeing other women in the same age groups struggling with similar things. It was nice because, they would go like, I'm trying this. And it was very helpful for me to go, oh, that's something to be interested about, maybe trying or
Mm.
taking a look into,
Yeah.
especially since we were all just trying to figure it out and make it happen, and having that support and having that the group chat and then the Facebook group and everything. That was really helpful to see the different things and what people were trying
Yeah.
in order to make things happen. Sometimes something didn't work for someone else, but it worked for another person. And it made me go, okay, great. I'm not the only one that's going like, is it this or is it that? And
Hmm.
it's great. And I appreciate the community so much.
Yes. Yeah, the community is beautiful. I always say to everyone, we are wired for connection. Don't forget that. And fertility is such a taboo topic because truly, statistics say that 63% of women never talk about it with anyone. So the fact that we create a space where we talk about it openly and we all get each other is so beautiful. I'm so glad it was helpful. Okay, so what were your results in the program, Katrina?
We got pregnant. I mean, it took us a while to figure out what was going on, but I found out I was pregnant in April of last year, right before Easter. And, my husband and I laughed because I took the test and he's like, oh, it's too early. And I was like, well, let's just see. And it was a Sunday morning. I remember this very vividly. He was in the shower and I took the test. And when it showed positive, I was like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. And then I texted you like within like an hour or so after I got the positive test. I was like, I took like 4 of them to make sure I wasn't crazy and seeing a line. Cause I was like, oh my God. Cause I remember seeing a phantom line like before I met you and then going like, okay, well, and then didn't result into anything. So it took me a minute. It was a pinch yourself moment going like, it is a line. Like I am seeing this. I ended up using a digital test because I couldn't believe it to see the words pregnant on it. And now we have our beautiful son who was born on December 8th. And he is just the cutest little stink pot ever. He smiles super big and oh, he's such a joy.
Oh, this is making me emotional. And he was born on December 8th. I'm December 9th.
He almost came on December 4th, which was my dad's birthday. And so when we told my mom, I told my parents on Mother's Day that we were pregnant. And my dad, when we told him the due date, he's like, he could come on my birthday. And he almost did. He was this close, but uh, he decided he wanted his own birthday a little bit further away from both of us. So he had him early morning on December 8th. And it was wonderful just to be able to see him smile, and he's just been an overachiever for sure. And man, he's super tall. Just on point with my husband and I being super tall. But he's so smart and we're so happy. And I look at how healthy he is and how well he is doing. And I'm like, man, we really optimized everything to order to have him. And we don't see anything wrong with him. We're tracking him very well, and he's already starting solids. I'm shocked by that.
Amazing. Amazing. Oh my God, it's giving me the chills. And he is so handsome.
He is. He's the cutest. I'll have to try to grab him here soon so you could see him again. But he's so big and he's such a wonderful kid. And he's just a joy in our hearts for sure, in our home.
Mm. And I'm sure you guys are great parents.
We love it. It was interesting because this is our son is the first child that my husband has ever changed a diaper on. So he's definitely working with ground zero, and it's quite hilarious. And he's been such a good sport on it and working really well. He loves taking care of him and working through all the things. He's like, okay, by the next kid, I'll be a professional at this. He's come a long way too as a dad, so I'm just thrilled.
Oh, I'm proud of him too. He's always been a great team player.
He has, and it's been a journey for him because during this process, we've had to like cut out some family on his side. So this journey of creating our own family has just been for him a very long and hard process
Mhm.
on the emotional side for him. And, you know, I know guys don't talk about it, but as his wife, I can see that he had a lot to work through emotionally
Mhm.
because of his family not being there and supportive.
Mhm.
And so now that we have our son, he just is thrilled. And he's like, I love him. I would die for him. I would take care, you know, I will do anything for him. And becoming a father has really made him into the full person that I knew he could be. And it's just, I love seeing this side of him and love seeing him continue to, you know, grow and mature as a person as well. He was already mature to begin with, but it's just that extra step
Mhm.
of, oh, I'm responsible for this other person besides my wife. And he's so sweet. There's so many, I take so many good pictures of him and Samuel sleeping on him. It's so cute.
Adorable. Wow. Wow, Katrina. I am still pinching myself too. I seeing you here, also like the background of your room and everything, like it brings me back to all the times where we have been meeting and troubleshooting things and stretching ourselves to help you. And now I'm seeing you in the same chair, in the same space, being a mom and telling me all these beautiful things. And it just makes me really emotional. Comes with
Yeah, it makes me cry too because you know, at one point I thought I would never I would never get this, and now I have it, and I would not give it up for anything.
no. And you've worked so hard, like truly, PCOS is a beast and you've learned to tame it. And not everybody does. And, that's for you, for your fertility, but also for your quality of life, for the potential, like reaching the full potential of your life experience.
Yeah, it affects everything, and with Saki, he realized that even though he wasn't part of the problem, he had to optimize himself as well to
Mhm.
give me the best chance to have for us to get pregnant.
Yeah.
And so he, you know, he started taking supplements too, and then found some other stuff that would help increase his mobility, even though his mobility was great according to his tests. And when he realized that he needed to do more to help me because I was doing everything that I could, like I hit my ceiling of the next step for me is IVF. Like
Mhm.
IUI and IVF were the next step for us. And so he realized with everything that like we learned through the tools was like, okay, maybe he needs to just optimize a little bit more, even though his everything says he's fine. Maybe optimizing himself a little bit more would be better. So that way I'm not doing 110% that I can really be at 100 and he can take on the extra 10 for me. And he started doing that, and that that gate was a good game changer for us because the month after he started doing that, that's when we conceived.
Mhm. There you go. That's a great reminder. We say it over and over and over again. Men are 50% of the equation. And especially when we have a female factor, men, we need the sperm as fit as possible. Everything that you can do, men listening to us. And there's a lot you can do, proven by research, to improve your sperm quality. It needs to happen.
Yeah.
happen. And that's when we see results, that's for sure. Okay, what would you say to the Katrina of, say, 1.5 years ago?
Don't give up. It'll happen. It's hard and it's worth it. That is, I'm a very like straightforward person. So for me, not giving up is just the key part of it. Cause at one point I remember talking to you and going like, this is so hard. And I was crying because I was struggling. We were dealing with my cycle not doing what it needed to do. We were like, what, at 48 days of no cycle. And you and I were like, what is this? And it's like, okay, that's when you told me, I was like, maybe it is time we get a doctor involved to see if we can get your cycle to just start. Because we couldn't get it to start. We tried everything and anything that, tease, all of the stuff. And it was just, when you said that, yeah, that makes sense at this point. It felt to me like knowing that was right. And reminding myself during that time to not give up, that we will get this, that we are going to get this as natural as possible. Still, it makes me very proud that I had you next to me, working with me. Mm-hmm. So that way we can get close to natural as possible.
Katrina, what would you say to anyone who's struggling to get pregnant today?
It's Sonia. I mean, for anybody that talks to me and asks, like, how did I get pregnant? Because they knew that we were struggling. I said, I got a fertility coach. And that was the best part of this whole journey, was I had somebody specifically in our corner, looking at everything, helping us plan, being that quarterback that I needed in order to get to our goal. And anybody who comes up to me is like, well, who did you use? I always give out your information and I'm like, get a hold of her. She's great. Sonia is the best because she'll work with you. She'll figure out what your body needs and walk you through the steps and gives you great, information. And I think that since I've been pregnant and had my son, I think I've handed out your information like 6 or 7 times at this point, because it's just, the results are there. I have my son, and it's just, my quality of life has gone up. My husband's quality of life has gone up, and our family has grown, and that's what we wanted.
Mm-hmm. That's so beautiful, Katrina. I am so, so happy for you.
Thank you.
Okay, so what would you say to anyone who's considering the fertility solution as a way to boost their fertility and get pregnant?
It's worth it. It's worth every penny. I know that sometimes you look at everything and how much things cost, but at the end of the day, you go like, you desperately want it, you'll have it. I had somebody point out to me before, if your child was to get hurt, how much would you pay to take care of that child? It's the same thing. And for me, having you as a coach and having the Fertility Solution as part of our program to get us to where we are today, it's worth every penny. Absolutely. And I know that when we try for kid number 2, I'll be knocking at your door going, okay, ready for round 2. And we'll figure out what the next steps are, because things change. And, you can't keep up with the studies as fast as for the Fertility Solution can.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. And it is true that we do everything here backed by research. And we adapt and we grow, and we are not stubborn. That's something that's very important, right? Like, every kid will come to this world the way they're meant to come. Some kids will be completely natural. Some kids will benefit from a little bit of technology and a little bit of science. No harm done. Like, we are not stubborn here. Every kid will come the way they're supposed to. Your kid was supposed to come the exact way that he came, and that's why he's so perfect and so healthy. And
he's
absolutely amazing. Amazing. You look amazing. And I know you sleep deprived, but clearly everything that you've been doing has been working, not just to get him, but also to bring you to your fullest potential, to the best version of yourself.
yeah, we're healthier and doing much better. And it's been such an amazing journey. And as we're currently like in the middle of like the breastfeeding and the, sleep regressions and the growth, we look at it going like, okay, these are tools that we have in our toolbox that we can continue to use, because you can continue to use these tools even when you're not pregnant, in order to optimize the systems that you have and to give each other the benefit. The other day I was cleaning out our shelf and I found some of my husband's vitamins. He's like, should we save these? And I was like, well, let's look at the expiration dates first, babe, before we make a decision. But it was quite hilarious to see, ironically, to see all of that and go like, yeah, this is what it took to get where we are. And a lot of these things we can still use. And I was going through, I'm going like, well, Sonia, I remember her telling me that even after we're done, like some of these things are just great to have. And so it really, like, to optimize us and to optimize our health, even after pregnancy and after having a baby, it's a blessing in disguise for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Because if anything, what we do here is practice a toolbox that brings us to the best version of ourselves, the version of ourselves that will get pregnant, and the version of ourselves that the world needs from us, because we deserve and our community deserves the best version of ourselves. And that's what we practice here, that personalized toolbox that will get you there and that will be available to you anytime that you need it.
Definitely.
Awesome. Well, this was beautiful. Again, congratulations. I want to meet him in person at some point. We need to make it happen. And meanwhile, please continue sending me pictures and videos, because I love and I'm so honored to be part of this family.
Yeah, I'll have to figure out how to send you the video of him trying with bone marrow. It
Wow.
was He loved it. So we
Wow.
just we
Speaking
went
of
straight for the
superfood,
meat.
oh my God. Yay. Oh, isn't it amazing? The miracle of life creation, Katrina.
It is, and it's an awe and wonder. And I just look at him and I am so blessed to be his mom and so grateful that he's my son. And he is like total con child, you hear that phrase of a con child where they're uh, really easy and everything. And I look at it going like, man, he has just been a blessing. Yes, he does normal, the baby things, but he is super smart and super. I'm just I'm amazed by him, and he is such an uplift in this home. And my parents are it's hilarious. My parents want to kiss him all the time.
Oh, of course they do.
He's so cute, and then we're watching him develop so well. And uh, this time last year we hadn't told anybody besides like you and maybe one other person who knew we were pregnant, and now we have him. And Mother's Day is coming up, which is about when I told my parents that we were pregnant, and he's going to be 5 months old before we know it. And he's already trying to figure out how to crawl. And I'm like, nope, don't do that quite yet. Let's keep working on the tummy turns here.
Oh,
But he's definitely an overachiever for sure.
just like his mom. Of course. Oh my God, Katrina. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for being so generous to share your story. I'm sure a lot of women will be very hopeful after hearing your words and your honesty. And for anything that you need, I'm always here for you guys.
Thank you. And I'm grateful that you've always been in our corner.
Thank you. Of course.